Wow. It is wonderful to be back at a place that I consider my home on so many levels. And I want to actually start this little journey together by inviting you to respond to just 5 questions. I started with 18, but I cut it to 5. And I'd like to just preface this by saying, as you respond to these questions, choose consciously your level of disclosure and choose your level of participation, and recognize that participation can run on a continuum. What I'm going to invite you to do, if you are able, is if the question is true for you, and you so wish to acknowledge that, to just stand briefly in place, in silence, and then be seated. So this is an up-down for those that are able. If you're differently able, please acknowledge in whatever way works for you if the statement is true for you. Okay? So please stand if you are able. If you're not sure at times what to do or say, for fear of offending or hurting others with your statements or questions about any issue related to equity or inclusion, and as a result, you sometimes notice yourself staying silent or more reserved than you would like. Thank you. Please stand if you're able, if you've ever experienced withdrawal of support from colleagues or friends for taking an unpopular stand about an equity or inclusion issue that was important to you. Thank you. Please stand if racism, sexism, heterosexism, or any other ism has impacted key relationships in your life, and as a result, some of these relationships were damaged or even changed as a result. Thank you. Please stand if you've ever felt overwhelmed and or fatigued with trying to educate others about equity and inclusion issues. Thank you. And please stand if you've ever witnessed inappropriate or hurtful behavior or comments, whether intentional or not, directed towards others based on some difference, but you found yourself unsure as to what to do or what to say. Thanks. So I wanted to start there because I find the issue of equity and inclusion now at age 60 more personally relevant to me than ever. And I spent the first 32 years of my life blissfully asleep at the wheel, as I like to say, about how any of these issues touched me. I was sort of traveling in a similar universe, but it really never touched my life, or if it did, I was not aware of that. And so today I want to just talk a little bit about my journey and hopefully see how that connects with your journey. Let's see what some of the common points are, and maybe some of the different points between us. So when I went to Google this last week and Googled Kurt Hahn, up came a picture that I've seen for much of the last 40 years. And of course this quote, which is a very familiar one to probably many of us in the room. And what I was really surprised by, or not surprised by, but taken by the word again, curiosity, because for me the issue of curiosity has become more of a focus rather than less. And so then I sort of Googled the definition of curiosity: a strong desire to know or learn something. And I think for me, lots of times my curiosity and my passion have been derailed because my passion has basically changed curiosity into a strong desire to tell other people what they should know and what they should learn. I'm sure that that resonates for some of us in the room. And so I've really been an experiential educator all of my life, Pam, as you sort of noted, back to even childhood. And I said for the last 28 years, I've found that I've made it my life's work to both engage myself and straight white men in particular around equity. I want to explore that a little bit with you about what that might be about. And And I also primarily worked for the last 25 years in the corporate arena, because I believe that for me, that I can affect the most change by engaging with other white men of my group that happen to be many in those positions around the globe. And this is a little comical for me because when I was in my 20s, I swore that I never wanted to be anything close to any part of corporate life, and here I am. I'm finding myself this last week with 3 different CEOs of large Fortune 500 companies and having a conversation that I never thought I would have or that I would want it to have. And one of the things I've found out along that journey is that there's some pretty darn good people in every part of this world, in every corner of this world, and in places that I have never thought I would find. And it's actually been an incredibly liberating process for me. So, as I enter my 60th year, I have a hope that in this world, that the need which I see